Good afternoon, everybody. And as always, thank you for joining me today and giving me your time. I appreciate it so very much. Um, Today is going to be our week 4 class meeting for Module 155. And like I warned y'all, this one went by quickly. We are already, day 14, 15, 16, or 20. We're ending on Wednesday. Final exam on Wednesday. Chapter 27 exam on Monday. Tuesday, we're reviewing the entire module, and then Wednesday is going to be your final exam. And then we roll into module 156 on Thursday. And guess what, guys? We're done with coding in 4 days. Woo! We're done with coding in 4 days. So, y'all will not have to be sick of the word CPT and ICD-10 and diagnosis and procedure and all of those words that I've been killing y'all with for 4 months. It is over. And now we get to do some fun stuff. And part of the fun stuff that we get to do, 156 and 157, we start really focusing on the front end medical office software. Y'all get your, what we like to call an externship there that you can put on your resume, that you have, experience, months worth of experience in this software, and you know what you're doing. And then module 158 is our actually career placement or career services module. It is 5 days long. 5 days long. So you got to be paying attention or you're going to miss it. And that is where you will put together your resume, cover letter. And then we're also, at the same time, I think we're going to be coordinating with career services. So I'm glad we've got Miss Kelly and Miss Shanna joined us today. So y'all can see their faces. So the next time they pop in, y'all know exactly who we're talking about. And also y'all will get emails from them asking for resumes or to set up mock interviews and things like that. And I want to ask y'all if you would reach back out to these ladies. They work really hard for y'all. So if you're in a situation where you're already working in the field, you're not interested in somebody helping you find a job, that's fine. That's no problem. But we need to know that information too. Our whole purpose here is to get you working. So one of the things we like to do is at the end of the program, where are you going to work? We want to know. We need to know. Okay. And if you need help with that resume, that's what it's all about. That's what we're there for. And what these ladies are there for. So take advantage of it. If you don't want to take advantage of it, just be polite enough to respond and let us know that, okay? Let's see, any other important announcements? Yes, we have graduation coming up in just a couple of months, guys. I've got 3 more of y'all that are going to finish in the month of March. We've got Miss Cassandra, Miss Lanika, hopefully, and who else? Miss Kayla Morgan. Y'all will be finishing up this month, so congratulations on that. Job well done. And then graduation is May 5th in Lafayette. I don't think I'm going to be there this year in person, but I will be there virtually. I think the the way that they're doing graduation, the way that they're holding it is a little bit different than we've done it in the past. So I don't think, I'm a little bit outside the drive area, so I may not be able to make it in that day. I am going to try. I'm going to see. I've got some friends down in that area, and I might see what I can finagle some there in person. But I may not be. I may just be there virtually. But I am always with y'all in spirit. Always. All right. And I think that's about it for major announcements for right now. So let's just go ahead and jump into chapter 27. I've got I'm gonna share my screen. We've got a little quick slideshow, real quick. And again, y'all, it's gonna be fairly brief. Okay, so chapter 27, started reading on this yesterday and working on this. And for my new students, I am so sorry that y'all have had to pop in at this chapter. It is probably the roughest chapter to pop in on of the entire module, because not only have you hardly ever seen coding before, I think some of y'all don't even have your manuals yet. A couple of y'all, I think two. And then in this particular chapter, this one chapter, we talk about a type of coding that is completely different than what we've been doing for the last 4 months. So, rough chapter to start in on. And you'll also notice a lot in chapter 27, they reference the ICD-10 PCS. Well, if y'all have looked at our manual, it is not the ICD-10 PCS. It is the ICD-10 CM, which is different. The PCS is for hospitals and inpatient coding settings only, and the other ICD-10, the CM, is for all other physician services and whatnot. So one of the main things I want to talk about today is what the differences are between outpatient or physician coding versus inpatient or hospital coding. All right. So for your outpatient or physician services, for physicians, payment is based on specific services and supplies reported with CPT and HCPCS codes. Physician services are often referred to as professional services because they are performed by individuals. Physician services can be performed in many places, including hospitals. There are outpatient services provided in hospitals. So there can be physician services that were done in a hospital setting. All right, and let's see. And they go on for inpatient. Services provided by hospitals are broader than those provided by physicians. Therefore, hospitals are reimbursed differently. The hospital is paid for its hospitality, ensuring the patient is housed, fed, and nurtured back to health until the patient is discharged. Hospitals are paid for their hospitality using a complex formula, also called MSDRG, based on the severity of the patient's illness, the patient's other health conditions, age, and whether the patient required an operating room during this inpatient stay. Okay. So one of the big things, or some of the main points that I want to make to you guys to think about this, outpatient, and I've done inpatient coding for a group of hospitalists that did pediatrics. I never used the ICD-10 PCS. Never, because I was billing for those doctors specifically. Okay. They would go into the hospital and make a round and see patients. The hospital coders, the people that are coding their services, are using the ICD-10 PCS. Okay. But if you go to work for an outsourced billing company, a regular doctor's office, urgent care clinic, any type of clinic setting, you're going to be working in the ICD-10 CM, and you're going to be working in primarily outpatient status, unless your doctor makes rounds at a hospital. If they make rounds at a hospital, then you'll have some inpatient stuff come across your desk. But you're going to be billing for his services, not the facilities. Okay. And that's kind of where the difference lies there. One of the big things about inpatient coding that I found when I worked with it was discharge date in discharge summary. Anytime you have to submit claims for a hospital stay of any kind, or records that your doctor saw while somebody was inpatient, the claim form and all documentation has to be clearly marked inpatient and the discharge summary has to be included. Like you have to, sometimes they allow you to send it electronically. Sometimes they'll deny your claim and let you mail it in or fax it in to them. But almost always, a discharge summary is needed to finalize why and how that patient got out of the hospital. Just, and I'm sure it's a whole lot of covering themselves in the event, you know. But that documentation is key, is key. Without it, you're not, your claim's not going anywhere. Okay. And it's needed to the point that I worked for an outsourced billing company, working for a group of doctors that did rounds at the hospital. So I needed so much documentation on those claims. I had access to the hospital system from my company. They got me an outside, user ID and all this stuff to where I could get in securely and get to the hospital records that I needed to get to, pull those discharge summaries, things like that. It's all very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. All right, so, and I say this, y'all are gonna hear me say it over and over again. Pay attention to the examples in your book. They are so excellent. All right, so on exercise 27-1, I think that was in yesterday's assignment. Oh, I'm sorry. They gave a great example and broke it down and told you exactly which steps you needed to take to figure out the coding on this scenario. Would somebody like to read this? Pretty please.
I'll read it.
Thank you, Miss Courtney. I sure appreciate it.
Okay. A 61-year-old male is admitted with chest pain. Cardiac enzyme levels are elevated, and the ECG indicates an acute myocardial infarction. The principal diagnosis is acute myocardial infarction. Chest pain is not coded because it is a symptom of the definitive diagnosis of acute myocardial infarction. You mean to read the rest? Okay, let's code the case together. For an acute myocardial infarction, infarction is the manifestation. Acute indicates the episode of care, and myocardial indicates the general site of the infarction.
Okay,
Locate the
there.
term okay.
Thank you so much, by the way.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you see how they break it down for you? They help you pick out those keywords that you're going to be looking for so you can get to where you need to be. That's why I say, y'all, I love the examples in the book. They really help so much. All right, go ahead and finish reading that one, Miss Courtney.
Okay. Locate the term infarct or infarction in the index. Under the term infarction or infarct, locate the subterm myocardium. Note after myocardium, myocardial, you find acute and are directed to the code I-21.9. You can never stop at the index. You must always refer to the tabular. Otherwise, you will miss important notes such as additional characters required. Now turn to I-21.9 in the tabular. Under I-21.9, unspecified site, there are no additional notations required. The complete correct code is I-21.9.
Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now what they were talking about here is diagnosis coding. So y'all see how the process is exactly the same as the CPT. Find it in your index, locate it in your tabular, and never stop at the index. I love how they said, I didn't even notice that they had said that for me. Never stop at the index, you always check your tabular. And in this particular case, the I-21.9 was the correct code. So that's awesome. So hopefully when y'all read, this was, part of the first assignment. So hopefully this helped clear things up a little bit from the beginning. And I know some of y'all are new and it didn't help clear up anything, it maybe confuse things even more, but that's okay because we have not been through ICD-10. The bad thing about this, y'all, we're in chapter 27, right? We covered ICD-10 in chapter 2 of this book. Almost everyone who covered chapter 2, the last round, has graduated out, and all of my students are new. None of y'all have been through ICD-10 yet. So, given that, please understand that I am not going to be grading y'all hard in this chapter, and that if things are a little bit cray-cray, that's okay. That's okay. If y'all can get to the general section that you're supposed to be getting in without us having gone through chapter 2, and all y'all are learning off of really are the coding workshops and stuff right now, then y'all are doing fantastic. If y'all can actually get to the right section and subsection and get there, then that's really all I need for y'all to do at this point. We will learn the additional characters and the additional steps and the additional notes when we get to ICD-10. We're going to get really detailed in there, and I promise y'all will get lots and lots of practice. But for right now, for the level that y'all are at, I am not expecting the highest level of specificity from y'all.
Miss Brandy, the coding workshops that you do, the 7 o'clock ones, that goes over the stuff that we're learning right now?
Those are strictly coding, and it just so happens that they're lining up with the material.
I don't even understand how to find codes in the book. I just look in the grade section.
That's the first step. That's the first step. You always start in your alphabetic index, regardless of whether it's CPT or ICD-10. You're starting in your grade section in your alphabetic index, and then from there, you have to pick out your keywords. And that's what I say, we haven't been through this yet, so I don't want to browbeat y'all with it at this point. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, this chapter is just one of those that focuses a lot on ICD-10. So it is what it is. But that's why I'm saying, if y'all can just get to the right section or subsection, then I am happy with that at this point. Because like I said, most of my students that I have right now, except for the ones that are finishing this month, have not even been through the ICD-10 chapter yet. So almost none of y'all. So I'm not expecting perfection or even close to it at this point. But for y'all, this is where y'all are beginning. You're going to end up here. So you're going to see some of this material again. And the next time you do, you're going to have 8 months worth of looking at it to back it up. So it's going to be like cake to you. The last month of this course for you is going to be cake. Ask anybody who's about to graduate. But okay, so and Miss Courtney, also, if you can't make it to the coding workshops, or you or anybody, any of y'all want individual help with coding, I am more than happy to sit down with y'all in Zoom and we can work through some stuff together. If y'all have specifics, that you're coming across in your assignments that you're not understanding, we can always get together on a Zoom and walk through it together any day, anytime. You just have to get into contact with me and let me know what you need, and then I can facilitate that. All right, so they had some follow-up questions in the assignment on this scenario. All right, so that was the last sentence, I guess, of that statement. The patient is admitted to the hospital with severe flank pain. No, I'm sorry. This was the let's try it together, the next one. A patient is admitted to the hospital with severe flank pain and hematuria. A urinalysis is done and is positive for E. coli. The discharge summary states acute pyelonephritis due to E. coli. And what they're wanting you to figure out here is, what is your principal diagnosis? And what your principal diagnosis is, y'all, is the same thing basically as your chief complaint or their reason for being there. What is their the purpose?
Wouldn't it be acute poly? Wait, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yes, you're correct though. Acute pyelonephritis. Courtney's good at pronouncing that stuff. I am not. The medical terminology escapes me sometimes too, Angel. So don't worry about that. But you are correct. It is acute pyelonephritis.
I talk with my tongue, so it'd be hard to pronounce what the words is.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So the second question they asked, they wanted you to locate the principal diagnosis in the index. What code in the index, or what does the index direct you to locate?
N10.
That is correct. It led you to N10. All right, so was there a mention of a lesion in the case above? And why they asked this question, I'm not really sure. But no lesions, right? I'm guessing there's a coding differentiation if they found lesions, or if there were, lesions present. That would be my guess. And what is the correct principal code for this case, ICD-10? And this is, I'm guessing, after you've checked it in the tabular, the final code you came up with is what?
The same code N10.
That's correct. It stayed the same in 10. That's correct. And it's not often you actually see the diagnosis codes with like N10 is only three characters, right? So that's going to be a main section or subsection. It's not often that you get to use just the main three. So there must not been much underneath that. Because usually if by those subsections that are just the alpha character and then the two starting numbers, there's usually always a little stop sign there that says no, go further, be more specific. All right, so very good on that. Y'all are doing really well in the coding. Most of y'all are giving it a go and doing really well with it. So just keep that up. Keep trying. Google is your friend right now. For those of you who don't have manuals and have never done ICD coding, and you kind of want to wait till we cover that material, Google is your friend. Also, the term new student, where it asks you for an ICD-10, that would be appropriate as well. Like I said, I'm not expecting perfection right now because we just haven't covered this yet. We just haven't. But I think y'all will do fine. We started on ICD-10 on Tuesday in the coding workshops. This coming Tuesday, we're going to start actually digging into the manual. Remember to have yours tabbed so you can keep up and save some time. It goes so much faster if you have it tabbed, Joe. I can't say that enough. Do y'all have any questions? Like Courtney, you said you're not really sure where to start. Do y'all have any specific questions or anything about ICD-10 or anything at all?
I mean, so like when we look for the diagnosis, wait, we just go to the gray section in the front. What's the back of the book for?
Yeah, it's just like the CPT, except it's flip-flopped. Instead of the alphabetic index being in the back, it's in the front. I don't know why they did that,
Okay.
but it's two different organizations that.
Well, I just guess like on the CPT, it's like labeled like cardiac, respiratory, things like that. On this, it's just numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I do my tabs. I
Did
actually,
the books come with tabs? They don't. This book doesn't come with the tabs.
I don't think so. I think it's just the
Okay.
CPT that comes with tabs.
Okay.
I will show you if I can. On mine, I don't put the numbers if I can get this big old thing. Let's see. I don't think it's gonna be able to see that, but I have another picture where I have it, where I actually have it. But I put like literally, one of my first ones is TON, the table of neoplasms. So I'm not gonna remember the numbers on that. And then you basically just go by color. Each section is a different color. So you just go till that color runs out, and then you put you another tab. And the next one is drugs and chemicals. Let me see if I can get this one. No, 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 it's gonna be too small. But the next, and so I've got the tab that says drugs. Easy enough, right? And then neoplasms, I've got one that says blood, one that says endocrine and metabolic, mental, nervous, eyes. That's how I broke mine down. Mental, nervous, eyes, just straight up. Because I don't remember which codes go to which section. We're not supposed to remember that. We just need to know how to find them, basically. But yeah, it's very similar to the CPT. You start in the alphabetic index and then go find it in the tabular and verify it. The only thing with ICD-10 is that sometimes you have to add stuff in. It gets fairly a little bit more complicated when you have to add placeholders and modifiers and all this stuff. But like I said, y'all, once y'all start doing it a lot, once y'all get to that point in the program where we go through this material and y'all start working on it from that point, it's gonna click like you wouldn't believe. I promise. I promise. But in the meantime, y'all are doing great. Y'all really are. I have really been impressed with the crop of new students that have started since the first of the year. Y'all have just been killing it. Just killing it. So keep up the good work. Y'all should be proud of yourselves. Felicia coming from the hospital. Can't believe it. But all right, guys. Well, if y'all don't have any particular questions for me, and just always remember that when you think of something through the week, shoot it to me in a text. Don't try to save it for the meeting just in case you forget. Shoot it to me in the text if it's something you need to know right then or something you'd like clarification on. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I'm here anytime y'all need me, okay? But if y'all don't have nothing else for me, then I will wish y'all a very blessed afternoon and a great weekend. Y'all have fun, live your best life, make good choices. All right, bye guys.
Bye.